Healing is not as difficult as we like to make it out to be, but it is at the same time more difficult because of how difficult we make it. Healing requires you to look in the mirror. And I would be lying if I said that that's something easy to do. It's not. But it's not an uneasy thing because in and of itself, it's hard. It's not an easy thing to do because of the society we live in that punishes versus rehabilitate. And healing requires you to look in the mirror and observe and acknowledge how what has happened to you has changed you. And that's not always pretty. And it shouldn't be a hard thing to do. It shouldn't be hard to say, yes, this is somewhere, this is a part of who I've become that isn't as pleasant or as nice as I could be, and I want to change that. But because of the society we live in, it's, oh, well, then you're bad. And the truth is, no, that just makes us human. But the beautiful thing about being human is that we have the capability to evolve. We have the consciousness, the higher consciousness that allows us to see that versus some other animal species, which I need you to understand. We as human beings, we are animals. We just have that one special part of our consciousness that allows us to assess and analyze how to become better. And we're wasting that gift. And I dare to say that we're not wasting it because we want to. We're wasting it because we have been placed in a position to fear evolving. If I admit that there's something that needs to change within me, who's going to look at me negatively? Are there going to be repercussions from it versus understanding that this is part of evolution? This is part of change. This is how we become our higher selves. And it should not be about punishment. You are actually rewarded for that growth. But we live in a society that has created an illusion around that. What we see is people being rewarded for continuing their toxic and negative behaviors, and those who are wanting to be or holding themselves to a higher standard being mistreated. And so it leaves you feeling like, well, what do I do? It leaves you feeling as if it's easier to assimilate to the toxicity so that you are no longer being punished. But I'm here to tell you, the quote unquote punishment that you're seeing is an illusion. The rewards that you're seeing from others is an illusion. And I know you're saying to yourself, well, how is it an illusion? I see them. They're successful. They have things. They're doing things. But those are worldly things. Those are man-made things. You say he's successful. He has a job that makes X amount of money, but that job and that money is all man-made. That has nothing to do with your spiritual success. And what I want people to understand is that when you do the work spiritually to evolve into your higher self, you are rewarded spiritually, which then manifests itself in the 3D. The only way it will not show up in reality for you is if you allow the illusions created by the toxicity outside of yourself to convince you to think negatively about you gaining your rewards, because everything is controlled in the mind. You see people who are toxic and negative seeming to achieve not because they are being rewarded for their evolution and their spiritual growth, but but because they believe they deserve those things. That's it. That is the only thing that you are seeing. Because we are not being taught this in the spiritual community and through our churches and our religious organizations, we are under the illusion that the negativity is being rewarded. No, what it is you are seeing the negativity creating illusions through abuse, through toxicity, and to making you change your mindset, change your belief system about yourself into believing that you don't deserve the same rewards that they get. Healing is not hard. It is looking in the mirror. It is observing and analyzing what parts of yourself are in need of improvement. Looking at how the things you have been through have changed you into a way that is not so positive. Looking at yourself and saying, how have I assimilated to the toxicity around me in order to fit in order to AKA survive? And then saying no. And acknowledging where that's holding you back spiritually. Looking at your life and truly saying, outside of the worldly things, are you spiritually whole? Are you happy? Do you have joy that no one can take away? If the answer to that question is no, then you have not gained anything. You have gained nothing because everything that you have cannot be taken with you into your next life. And yes, I'm talking about reincarnation. I need you to understand that what we're experiencing here, this need for evolution, is due to the reincarnation process. What you gain spiritually, your wisdom, your knowledge, and the lessons that you take with you through your experiences in this lifetime is what goes with you in the next. Now, there are people and systems in place that are trying to make it so that the riches go with them as well, but that is not always a guarantee. And that in itself comes with its own, dare I say, punishments. Okay. It's not all it's cracked up to be. You want to take that spiritual wealth with you because when you don't do the work to evolve spiritually, to grow and evolve as a human being, you come back with the same exact lessons to learn. And if you've ever said to yourself, I don't want to come back here, then you're a person that says to me, I need to do the work so that I make sure that my next hand that I'm dealt in this life is not the crap that I was dealt this time. And once we start doing the healing and the evolving as individuals, that is when we're going to start to see the shift as a whole in humanity. It's not just about people getting up on a soapbox and pointing out everything that is wrong. If we're not willing to do the inner work individually, it doesn't matter. Because we all know someone, and it may even be ourselves, who has sat around pointing fingers at what someone else is doing wrong, but they're not looking at the three fingers pointing back at them. That is our job. How can we as individuals be better so that humanity itself can be better? And that's to heal. I want to challenge you, if this video has come across you today, it is because Spirit is saying it is time. The time is now. Let's do the work. You want to see a change. Be the change that you want to see. That is the only way the change will come. If you're ready to do the work, if you're committed to your spiritual growth and change, like, share, and subscribe for more.